invalid login. What?
Oh, I changed your password.
No, you didn't. This was a Cloudflare thing. Oh, come on, Cloudflare.
What do you think? I'm looking a little more formal today.
I'm not
All right.
seeing
We'll talk about it on the show. Can you share your screen? You want a picture taken? Is that why you're smiling?
Oh, Jesus. This is going to be a good one.
It's going to be a great one. Don't you doubt.
I don't doubt. I'm excited. Been too long.
I'm actually waiting to see if the audio skips again.
All right. Bot's running now. You can just suggest your title. Oh, shit. You really did go live.
Yes.
Oh,
he's not sharing a screen, though.
Not yet.
Which you've told him several times now.
1, 2, 1, 2. Coming off the top, y'all know how we do. Listen, I'ma drop a freestyle you can cherish. I'ma send a shout out to the host named Eric. Yo, he's never on some average shit. You know, Eric, he stays loud and passionate. I'm about to break it down for y'all with the clever song. Yo, shout the host named Thomas, cause he's never wrong. Yo, shout to John. You know that he's smart and quiet, unlike my freestyles, which cause a riot. I'm about to do it like this, cause the people love me. Shouts out to PHP, the ugly. It's called ugly cause it's not professional, but I'm about to come through and bless it with style. So let's do it when I'm spitting, I perfume the room. Yo, the segment of the show is called Doom and Gloom. That came from Thomas. Yeah, can nobody go beyond this? I get the mic and then I'm about to keep it like a promise. Yeah, and y'all know we fill them up with anguish. We talking about the PHP, the programming language. About to break it down, no exaggeration. What do y'all do for a living? Web applications. Okay, I can dig it. My words spray tight. They getting together on the Thursday nights. Yeah, when it comes to rhyming, you can call me the new dude. I spew true lyrics while y'all broadcast on YouTube. So let's get it. You know my lyrics are major. All up in the comments, they got plenty of haters, but they doing what they doing. Keep it ugly. We ending every show with the saying it's lovely. Let's go.
Let's go.
Nope.
Nope. Nope what? Nope what?
All right. This is going to be an interesting one. I feel it.
Mm-hmm.
End of the year. Okay. Tom, are you hearing a lot of echo as well?
Yep. That's just your room. It's not.
Yeah, there's nothing on the walls here. Nothing anywhere.
Yeah, no, you gave up early on having a good show. Didn't set up all your stuff.
Oh, I did unpack this though.
That's important. Need one of those at least every episode.
All right, let's get it going. Gotcha.
Start recording.
Episode 200. What's happening?
Tom's dainty little.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. What are we doing?
Can we get started?
Please.
I guess I'm unpacking to do. I'd like to wrap this up. All right, here we go. You're listening to episode 267 of the PHPUgly podcast. Wait, that doesn't sound right. Is that what I normally say?
Yeah, well, close to it, but...
This is PHPUgly, episode 267.
You're listening to...
Welcome. I'm your host, Eric Van Johnson, and with me is John Congdon.
No, we're not all drunk, just one of us.
And definitely not the drunk guy, Tom Right Up.
Good evening.
Good evening, John.
So
Okay,
debonair.
Our audio podcast listeners, I apologize. I'm being told there's a lot of echo coming from me. I'm in my new house. There's nothing on the walls anywhere, and there's a lot of echo. So I will
in your
probably
giant new house that I saw a picture of you in your new house, and you look like a small person in your new house.
On that giant couch. Oh no, is that a normal size couch? Is that what you're saying? Did I mess that up?
It feels like it's a normal size couch for the size of house he's in, and he's just gotten much, much smaller. It's very strange.
Yes, your wife is posting a lot of pictures online.
Being a big guy, it's fun being on a big couch. It's like, hey, is this how normal people live? Like,
I'm gonna come over and get lost in the cushions.
It looks like Eric is wearing Dad's suit for the first time, where like his legs don't hang over the edge of the couch. He's just sort of flopping there, like it's so small. It's adorable.
Yes, we got some new furniture when we purchased the new house. So very exciting. It's a very exciting time here in the Van Johnson household. Very happy.
The fact that you got to move in early is exciting. You're able to move all of your the movers and everything up to get your stuff in there quickly.
The fact that it's not under a bridge, but it somehow sounds more vacant than under a bridge.
Yes. You guys are absolutely right. The movers are 100% worth the money. I will never question that ever again.
Now you're kicking yourself for not using them to get out of the other house.
Yeah. Well,
if he could kick himself, he can barely move his legs.
Yeah. The weird thing about it is like you and I run a business. We run a business. So like giving direction is like a normal thing for us. I felt like more of an asshole giving direction today. Like all I did was stand around and point at things. Yeah, take that there, take that there, take that there. I'm like, man, I am a dick. Is this how I think I work?
Did you not know that before?
Maybe that's what that private Slack channel is all about. Eric, don't join.
Oh, you weren't supposed to see that. Damn it. Thought I had that hidden. Forgot you're an admin. You can see everything.
Yeah. So yeah, getting in the new house, got the keys early, so that was super exciting, and just been moving. It's crazy thinking about like moving out. I thought about this when I moved out of the house that we sold, and we packed everything up and we had to put it in storage and stuff. But the concept of the fact that we basically touched everything we own, like everything we own in the world, we touched in that time period. And now we're kind of doing it again. And we have too much shit. I mean, that's
take the hit, take the time and get rid of it. If it does not bring you joy,
start with the children.
Start with the kids.
Yeah, grab them by the shoulders and then just escort them out the front door.
Yeah, it's been a busy month, to be completely honest, but especially a busy couple weeks.
And the month's coming to an end, the year's coming to an end.
December is notorious for being a slow month.
Yeah. You say that, but all of a sudden Eric and I are like busier than ever. We have like another new client coming on board. Well, new/old. We have a old client from years ago coming back to us saying they're ready to kick off their project again. Which this one is a fun one. They came to us with a WordPress multi-user site. And they have an application built. They had someone building it. And we kept telling them the entire time, you're crowbarring your application into WordPress. WordPress is the wrong thing for what you're trying to do. But they didn't want to change. And they paid us a lot of money to make it work.
To crowbar?
Yeah, I'm good
We
at
got
crowbarring.
it working.
Yeah, like it got up and running. It was able to charge people for their service, and then they shut it down. And here we are. It's what, at least 2 years later, right, Eric? If not 3.
I mean,
And
it feels a solid 2.
I mean, the owner's the nicest guy ever. I've talked to him over the years personally, just kind of checking in with him, and the fact that he came back and he's ready to start it up again shows he's passionate about the project. And he's even saying, I remember you telling me from the very beginning that WordPress was the wrong thing, so let's do it right, which is exciting. Now we got to figure it out.
Would you ever turn down an idea that like a person was passionate about, but you were just like, this is bad. You can't. It's not going to work for you.
I think we would talk to them. Like, I'm not going to turn it down if they're passionate about it and we've done our due diligence and we said, like, if there's other options out there, or if it just doesn't seem like it's going to make money, I would have an honest conversation. Like, I don't see, here's my concerns. I don't see this being profitable, or, I think it's a bad idea. I may have those honest conversations, but if they want it done anyway, okay. Like, why would I turn it down?
Do you think that that's different than situations where you're like an employee? Or is it, because I've had plenty of situations as an employee where I've had like, hey, here's the ticket, and then I said, hey, I need a call with the boss because this is crazy, not going to work the way you think it's going to work.
I don't think it's any different. I think it's the same thing. You're expressing your concerns about you don't think it's going to work, but at the end of the day, if your employer wants it done, you're going to do it, right?
Yeah.
To me, our clients are our employers. That's how we make our living, is through clients. I'm not saying that I'm going to take on any job for money, but at the end of the day, if it's something we can build, even if we don't think it's going to be successful, as long as I didn't mislead the client, I didn't tell them, oh, this is a great idea, let's build it. We've often said, well, what about this? What about that? And if
you're barking up the wrong tree, Jack.
It's okay. You still want to give me money, even though I don't think it's going to work? All right.
So I remember getting in a lot of trouble as a younger developer by voicing my opinion at an inopportune time. I mean, like,
describe inopportune.
I think all of us have worked on stuff where we said this is a stupid thing to work on.
It depends on who you're saying it in front of, yes.
But
when you're saying it,
yeah. But I think when I was a younger developer, I would say, like, this is stupid. This isn't how things work.
There's a more elegant way to put it.
There
a more
is.
PC way to say
it.
I have Web3 on the list of topics today, which is one of those things I would say if somebody asked me to work on, I would say you're stupid.
All right, let Eric talk. He's going to say something.
Yeah, all I was going to say is, first thing, saying it's stupid is not very constructive. I mean, just to say the least. But there's also the opportunity. There's also the time, and we've had this happen, where somebody wants to just keep second guessing you, and it's like, okay, we've moved past that. The time for Q&A is over. We've made a decision. We're going down this path. Stop slowing things down. And I have gone through that before.
And I was definitely that junior developer who was like, I know we got past this, but I want to bring it back up again.
Yeah, so that's frustrating.
Well, yes, it's frustrating, but like as a developer, well, like one of the things I learned early was you're going to work on shit you do not want to work on.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things I learned late was you have to not complain about that. It's like I knew for a long time that I was going to work on stuff I didn't want to work on. I just didn't know when to shut up for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there's one thing, like getting your opinion, kind of captured and on the record, because when things do go sideways, somebody might remember, oh yeah, that's right, Tom talked about that. But
there's an episode number where he specifically talked about that.
but also you need to try to be productive as well and move and help the team be productive. So.
Yeah. I had an interesting meeting today about along those lines that was discussing, well, hey, we're operating within the restrictions of the system that we've built, the monolith that we have now. And I said, well, the status on this thing is just an integer. We can make it anything we want to. We can invent a new status to represent a new thing. And my boss was like, that's a fantastic idea. Not everyone is technically proficient and knows that an integer can be just anything, can represent any value.
But that's different. I mean, that doesn't apply to what we were talking about.
Sometimes, well, sometimes it's different. Sometimes it's not. One of the things I encounter a lot is people who can't tell the difference between a major feature and a minor tweak. When they say like, well, let's make this button do this one thing, and why not? Well, why is that expensive? It's just a button.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, non-technical folks don't know what goes behind making things work often. If you're listening to us and you want to join us in a conversation, join us on Discord, because we get some fantastic questions in there. Discord.phpugly.com. Just get that in there. Sevi asks a great question. You guys ever have a client that you spend over a year working on something only to have them throw it all away and start a totally new project? Yes. How many times have we had that happen, Eric?
Yeah. 2 years.
With the same client. They keep throwing us a project. And this is part of what I was talking about. We've had conversations with this client. Like, I don't see how this is going to work. I don't see the vision, but talking through it, they want it built. We build it for them and it gets thrown away. And it's happened multiple times with them. And it's not because we're not producing. They're still happy with us. They still pay us every month, but they're trying things that aren't working, and it happens. It frustrates us because we want to see the stuff we write go live. We want to see it used. So when it's not, it's sad.
And that's one of the strange things about working for a startup, is that there's the stakeholders and then there's like the stakeholders. So I've worked for a company where the A round funding was passed, everyone had the money, and they didn't care about the B round or the C round funding, so that like they could go down the totally wrong path and be bankrupt and destitute after year one. And then you get into like meetings where you're talking about the C round funding, and now you have to identify, well, who's your stakeholder for this? That is someone going to be coming in that you've never met before. You've been here for a year or two. You've never met this person, and they're going to flip the table. And it's very eye-opening.
All right, I want to
And-
switch topics.
I didn't know we had a
I'm-
topic.
I'm done talking about that. I have a question for you, Tom.
Yeah.
You have a project management system in place, right?
Yes.
Is it Scrum based? Do you do story points?
Yeah.
How are you doing that? What are you using?
So we're a Jira based operation. All the stuff we do is through Confluence, Jira, all the Atlassian tool sets.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have a Scrum master.
That's fine.
We don't have a person who is an agile expert. And I was actually just talking about this today with some friends of mine, where if you looked at the style of our project management 2 months ago, 3 months ago, you wouldn't recognize what we're doing now.
That's a sign of progress, right?
Absolutely. You introduced me to the idea of a cooldown sprint, and that's going to become one of the core concepts of how we do work after me being here for 6 months. We have multiple teams. We have 3 or 4 teams now, and the cooldown sprint is going to be staggered between the teams to handle bugs and backlog items and spike tickets. And so yeah, we're agile, but no one's read the book about agile development. We're working on figuring it out for each other.
Clarification first. What is a spike ticket? Because I haven't heard that term.
So a spike ticket is when you identify an issue in an epic that is of an unresolved size. You don't know what it's going to entail. You can't assign story points to it because there's just too much information that's in the unknown. So we have a request. Well, okay. An example you guys would recognize is event sourcing.
Mm-hmm.
If one of your clients comes to you and says, we want to implement event sourcing, you can't just jump into that and start making epics and story points for it. You have to understand what event sourcing represents as far as an epic and what the realistic expectations are for your story points on a per sprint basis. So we have a 2-week sprint. So there's certain things we can't accomplish in a sprint. We have to organize with the operations team. They have to get certain things done that we might not know what needs to get done, or what services we're going to use. So a spike ticket for us says identify services, document functionality, and create a timeline of the epic that can be realistically addressed. Spike tickets are this like ultra flexible 0-point story where you
why would you do it 0 point versus it takes time, and it takes time out of your sprint to gather that information. So shouldn't you put some number of points on that to account for that time that you are spending?
Yes, but the sales team does not work on story points because you can't necessarily define how big it's going to be from the onset.
Right. But
So for this is a meeting I just had today where like our spike tickets are too big. they're
Mhm.
taking up the amount of time of 8 story points when we're not having a conversation around how much time it should really take up. But a spike ticket isn't a measure of work. It's a measure of pending work.
Right.
And so I
But
don't
research is work.
yes.
So I ask because one of the teams I work on is just now venturing down this road. So this week was a lot of meetings around starting to gather points. So we're coming up with our own scale. I mean, we're using the Fibonacci sequence, but we're coming up with our own points per task, trying to figure out, it's going to be an experiment over the next few weeks to figure out what the velocity is and start to see where we fall in this realm. With that, Eric and I are now talking about bringing this into more of the Digative projects, possibly. And going back to the first project, when we do have one of these big tickets, we are saying we're going to assign X number of points to it just to discover, just to try and figure out what needs to be done, so that a portion of every sprint could be, well, we need to figure out what we might do in a future sprint.
And I honestly can't tell you why we don't assign story points to our spike tickets. I can tell you that we had an hour-long conversation today about what a spike ticket should entail and how they have messed with our sprints the last month and a half.
Right. And they're messing with your sprints because you're not giving them points. It should be taken into account. If you're going to spend any time on it, it needs to be to go in there somehow.
But that's the conversation, is that they're messing with our sprints because either they're scoped incorrectly or there's an amount of communication that we require between the product team and the development team that is not happening. So a lot of the spike tickets are new to us, to my team. We've only been doing it for 3 sprints now, and it has not worked out well.
Gotcha.
I've been reading a lot of work by Andrew. Well, okay, yeah, his name's Andrew. Fuck yeah. Just saw that. FUQUA. I've been reading a lot of articles by Andrew Fuckia that are about spike tickets and how to calculate them and how to work them as a team. And one of the things that I think we need to focus on with our spike tickets is that they are a team effort, which is one of the reasons why story points kind of don't work, is because a story point is assigned to a single person. So if you accomplish 5 story points, they're your 5 story points. But in an environment where you have 3 architects, a spike ticket applies to all of them. You're working together to figure out the best solution to a problem.
So I think that's a mistake in. And I don't
disagree.
I'm no scrum master. I don't know enough about it. I'm new to the realm, but you're not measuring. You're not supposed to be measuring an individual's story points. Granted, you can use that as some indicator, but the story points are supposed to be a team effort. What can our team accomplish in this amount of time? Obviously, we're going to know, okay, Tom has done 50 of these 60 points, there's an issue, or Tom has done 2 of these 60 points, there's an issue. It can be used to help know who's carrying their weight and who's
No,
not.
and I think it's important to say, like I said, we're working through this process as a team of figuring out what agile scrum methods work for us. And I think that the spike ticket methodology is not working out for us. So John in Discord is saying, if you have a spike ticket, would it make sense to create smaller tickets where each ticket's goal is to help add context to the spike ticket itself? Yeah, probably. That's probably a better way to do it. Spike tickets came up because somebody said, hey, we could use spike tickets to resolve this. And then spike tickets started showing up in our sprints. And I don't think it's working out the way it is intended to work out.
Right. Create a simple ticket to research and give it.
But as a
points.
team, it's important to try these kinds of these time management techniques. And to circle around at the end of it and say, this technique just didn't work. And I think
that's part of the retrospective, right? Where you talk about what worked, what didn't work.
Right. So for our retrospectives, we have a quadrant of good, bad, start, stop. And bad spike tickets came up several times in the bad quadrant for this sprint retro that we just did a couple hours ago. So we're trying to address how we can do this better.
All right, now you bring that up. What is start stop in that quadrant?
Well, for me, start is always the stuff that gets put off because we don't have a cooldown sprint. The stuff that I want to do but don't have time for. Stop is very rarely populated.
But what is it supposed to be?
It's supposed to be stuff like spike tickets, like hey, this idea just didn't work out.
Gotcha.
Now,
so it's a consensus thing. If you guys came to a consensus that spike tickets weren't working out, it would be a stop thing versus a bad thing.
Well, so that's what I mean is that if everyone was saying spike tickets were bad, then we would start talking about spike tickets in stop. We go A, B, C, D. We go good, bad, start, stop. And if we're getting to the end of the retrospective and everyone has said spike ticket bad, then someone says spike ticket stop. And we would discuss that as we have a lot of meetings. And one of our stops, right? Well, one of our stops today was stop having so many meetings. Because everyone said, good collaboration, bad meetings. We've got 6 people saying bad meetings. Okay, we need to say stop meetings. You can't actually stop meetings, but how can you figure out a solution
you can have fewer meetings.
How do you do that?
Yeah.
And so we spend a half hour on how do we as individuals take our meetings count down, combine our conversations so that a meeting for one issue can also be a meeting for another issue instead of having 5 meetings that need a wind up and wind down time.
Right. Story points. Do you play poker planning or planning pokers, whatever it is, sprint poker?
No.
How do you come up with your points then?
So we have 2 meetings about the upcoming sprint. We have the let me get the right word here. We have the backlog grooming session where we look at what's coming up in the sprint and we discuss whether or not it's a larger issue than someone thinks, or a smaller issue, or it doesn't belong in the sprint. And that's when we do a lot of the work. And again, this is new to us. We started doing backlog grooming 2 sprints ago. But everyone gets together and says this thing is easy, this thing is hard. And then we have our sprint planning session the next day where everyone says, that's the thing I'm working on. That's the thing I have PTO. I'm out of town. I can't work on anything. And that's the thing that someone else should work on because I am the expert in that area and I want everyone else to understand how that area works.
Okay, but how do you come up with how many points a ticket is worth?
We all do it at once. Someone says, we say, hey, this thing looks easy. We give a rough overview of how we would implement it. And then someone says, I'll take it. And then we ask that person how many points it is. They say it's X points. And the team says, I agree or I disagree.
Have you tried planning poker?
Not yet.
So I did it for the first time this week, and it's interesting. And so far, I mean,
you're a poker nerd,
but it's not.
I know.
Poker is dumb, but it's interesting. So Charlton asked, when you're doing planning poker, how high of a score dictates breaking up a ticket into smaller teams? Curious what folks here tolerate for a single feature branch effort. So again, we don't know our scale. We're using the Fibonacci 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13 scale.
So we're using that too, and we have 2-week sprints. And if someone says 13, if someone says 13 or 8, we start talking about breaking it up into smaller tickets.
Right. That's what I was going to say. That's where our cutoff is too. So, but we're still in that discovery of what really is a 5 or an 8. Now, we did prior to these meetings.
That's interesting.
We don't have normal user stories. We don't have, as a user, I want this. We have, from product, I want this feature. So prior to our planning, developers got together knowing what was expected in the project and broke it out into what we thought dev deliverables were. So by default, they should have already been smaller tickets. And I think on average, we were in that 2 to 3 range as a group. But it was still fascinating getting a group of people in and actually using some sort of poker website where we all, I mean, we did it holding up fingers too. Somebody saying 1, 2, 3, and everyone hold up how many fingers they thought.
Sure.
How many points they thought it was. And to have good consensus is great. And then when you have the outliers, if most people said 3 and you have one person saying 1 and one person saying 8, it drives great conversation around, well, why do you think it's so easy, or why do you think it's so hard? It was good.
My biggest problem is 1 point and 2 point tickets.
Why?
Because to me, 1 point is like a spell check error on an email. You don't write a test for it. You just fix the spell check. It's like 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 points is like an hour and a half. And then like 3.
Really?
Right. Well,
so
like
your sizing is different then.
Well, just because for me 2 points is like, hey, I need you to add a new field to a request object. Like, sure, but that's 18 tests I have to modify to to check for that. And then 3 points is like 4 hours.
Well, then your timing is way different than ours. Way different.
And the work we're doing is way different. We're working on financial tech stuff where, adding social security numbers to something means a barrage of tests for security and encryption.
Mm-hmm. Charlton brought up that half points are a real thing, and while I agree, in the end it doesn't matter. Every team, the scale is a little bit different, and you come up with that scale as a team, and it's all relative. So you come up with, these are examples of my 1 points, and here's an example of a 3 point, maybe an example of a 5 point, and then everything is relative to those. So I could have a scale of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or the Fibonacci, which makes it a little more spaced out. Throwing the half point in there doesn't really offer a whole lot. It just changes the scale that you're working at.
So I don't know that the Fibonacci stuff has helped us at all, because we've completely lost the idea of a 6 point ticket.
But there shouldn't necessarily be that. It's either more effort than a 5 or less effort than an 8. And it's all relative.
It's not relative. Supposed to say what?
What?
Honey Badger transforms you into a DevOps hero by combining error, uptime, and cron monitoring into a single easy-to-use platform. Stop wasting your time tailing logs and deploy with Swagger. Visit honeybadger.io today to level up.
Thank you, Honey Badger.
Eric, you've been awfully quiet. Jump in here and say something.
Livewire, Vim, : Q. What? No, I've been listening. It's been riveting, exciting.
Riveting management talk.
So it was exciting to me in the sense that we've been talking about implementing something similar for our team and just wanting more information. I didn't mean to drone on about it as long as we did. I
felt like you didn't need to drone on.
It is a lot of the work that I do nowadays is this sort of time management, Scrum, points, epics thing.
We're back on that topic. Okay, hold on. What is it? Oh,
there you go. He can mute himself. It's a lot of the work I've been doing. I mean, I hate to say that.
Eric, come back. Let's
yes.
talk about PHP. Let's talk about PHP Architect.
Let's talk about PHP Architect. Did you see what I posted in Discord earlier?
No. What did you post in Discord earlier?
So I went back and listened to the last show of 2020 and just to see what we talked about. And we were going on and on about what a fantastic magazine PHP Architect is, and how everybody should be subscribing to PHP Architect. And for the record, that all still stands.
Even when it wasn't ours, we were still pimping it. Huh?
We were loving the PHP Architect. We also apparently launched Argus a year ago. That same show, we talked about a soft launch of Argus.
Argus.to.
Yeah.
.to. Yeah. Which we really need to give that some love. We've had a developer working on it. I need to go through, do a little code review on the stuff that they submitted and push out some updates to Argus. But yeah, we did a lot over the last year, John. There's been a ton of stuff.
Definitely. But we did over the break, not over the break, but we didn't record last week. We got the December issue of the magazine out.
The art
we did
data.
No, so that's where
Oh, I'm
that
just
was
reading.
a mistake.
I'm just reading what's behind you.
Yeah, I don't have the new one yet. That's the month before. So we didn't talk about it 2 weeks ago, right, Eric? The magazine?
I don't think we
I mean,
did. No.
we probably talked about the magazine in general, but not. We changed the cover this month, and I'm really excited about it and would love feedback on people's thoughts of it. Where we kind of took the header of the magazine and kind of went old school with it, looking back at previous, like the way that magazine used to look back in 2008. And then we also we took off all of the, like on our current, or the previous issue where we have like all of the articles listed and everything. We're like, we don't need that. We don't have, this magazine isn't sitting on bookshelves or on store shelves at checkout counters where
We're not
you need to
popular.
where you need to grab people's attention. So we don't need that. Plus the feature article was the Zen of mindful programming. So we made it very zenful. We cleared the cover, made it very peaceful, giving us space to breathe.
Very
anyway,
clean.
Yeah, so there was a lot that went into the cover. Eric and I took a lot of time to think about it. It wasn't laziness of let's just get rid of everything. Although
Well, that's the
makes
story we
sense now.
decided to go with. Okay,
That's,
yeah.
yeah, that's how it started.
I have to be honest. I guess I shouldn't be, but I am surprised how much time the magazine takes out from us. I mean, and Oscar was doing this by himself, basically.
Right.
You know, putting all this stuff together. It's really taking. I mean, I assume we'll get better with it over time, but
no,
it takes just reading all the articles.
That's a safe assumption.
Yeah, we'll get better at it, but it's still, like you said, there's so much work to be done. It's a lot. Yeah.
Is it problematic?
It's problematic Good.
It's problematic in the fact that we have to work on other client work to make money. It's not problematic in the sense that we don't enjoy doing it. Like, I can't speak for John, but I know for myself, if I had my option, PHP Architect would be all I'm doing right now. Like, I wouldn't even try to do client work. That's the problematic piece, is that it's not making enough money for that to be our only focus.
For me, the stressful part is waiting on people to give us content. Right? We don't have a staff of writers that we're paying to. I mean,
you should probably
people are paid to write for the magazine, but they don't work for us. So we can't say you have to get this to us now, and your deadline is Friday or else. Right? There's none of that. So it's people in the community submitting to us, which is fantastic, and we're doing a good job of working, especially with our columnists. They do a great job, but just staying on top of the feature articles and all that, just trying to make sure we have articles to put in the magazine.
You should hit up Andrew Garfield, because that guy cannot fucking stop writing.
I think he's written in the past, but yeah, I do need to hit him up.
No, he did the advent of code this month and wrote 20-something articles on his blog.
Well, what's up, man? You see, that could be money in his pocket. He's just giving it away for free.
For free. Dumb bastard.
We'll work for content. Love it.
Speaking of our Discord channel.
What's our Discord? No, we've talked about the Discord channel. How about we talk about our Patreons?
Oh my God, that's beautiful.
What? That's gorgeous. I have to go. I don't know what to say.
I have to go for what? I have to go for one
Go.
second.
Oh my goodness. Oh, but we're not on
So
the screen
happy.
anymore. He left us.
We're
We're
not.
not on the screen.
We're just showing our Patreons. Well, let's take a moment and thank our Patreons for
Yes.
a fantastic 2021. We're looking
Yes.
forward to 2022.
Yes, thank you.
I know it's said this in the past, and it still kind of boggles my mind. The whole Patreon thing kind of started off as a joke, and I don't know. It really became a core piece of of the show, and we appreciate it. It's allowed us to kind of level up the show. So thank you so much for the support.
Definitely.
We're hoping.
Looking forward to 2022 and continuing to grow, make changes, share stories.
Yeah,
It's gonna be
me
good.
too. Hopefully, all of them won't be about project management, but hey, who knows?
I don't know. I thought it was fascinating. I know it
No,
kind of
it's
went
great.
a little long, but
Yeah. No, I'm absolutely fine with it. But I think
I'm looking forward. Good. No,
I was going to wrap up the show at this point. I was going to say that's pretty much it for 2021.
We're only 50 minutes in. What are you talking about?
That's plenty of time.
Wait. I'm excited about what's coming up in PHP Architect Magazine over the next few months.
Oh, are we spoiling stuff?
I'm willing to spoil. Are you willing to spoil?
You know me.
No, Eric likes to take an idea and stretch it out for 4 or 5 months. So let's just spoil it now and get it done with.
Well, no, there's a series that we're starting in January that I'm excited about, and it's how to hack your home with a Raspberry Pi. And I know Eric's been a huge Raspberry Pi fan for years. I've had a single one that I've used in my 3D printer, and that's about it. I want to know more about them and use them more. I just don't ever take the time to sit down and do anything with them. So reading the first article, I was like, okay, like maybe I'll do some more. It's like wanting to find reasons to use them.
I have to admit, that's probably the best part of this job. The running of PHP Architect is we get to read all the articles before they're published. And then I have to remind myself not to talk about them because it's like, oh yeah, shit, we haven't published that one yet. We can't talk about it.
We can tease about it though, because this one's going to be at least a 4-parter, maybe more. So it's going to be not that we're dragging it out. There's just a lot of content to share. So it's really starting at the beginning and then building up. At least that's what I hope is going to happen, since I've only seen the first part.
Well, and hopefully the PHP transition to CMake doesn't cause problems. Internals has been interesting.
Why is that? What's been going on?
Do tell.
There's been very little going on, but there's been a lot of discussion about the future. And one of the things they've been discussing is CMake and the current build pipelines for PHP. One of the other things is array auto numeration, or how elements are added to arrays and stripping strings into numbers. And there's been some weird stuff. PHP 9, which we're way far away from, looks like it might be very controversial.
In what way? What, as far as like changes being made to the language itself?
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. We don't know who the release manager is going to be yet.
I mean, I could throw out a guess as to who it's not going to be. Somebody who is angry at the community and never doing it again.
And apparently is very small and big couches. What's up?
Oh, Joe's already opted out. Joe Ferguson says he's not going to be a release manager, so the window's wide open for anyone other than Eric.
Controversy, though. You're going somewhere with this, Tom.
Well, there's a core functionality of how PHP interprets array keys, which is the way it's always done it, where if you pass an integer in quotes, it will try to parse it as an integer without quotes and reassign the array to a mixed index array. It's an intricacy, but it would break a lot of stuff. And there's a lot of conversations about how that works. The build pipeline is currently under discussion in internals. I don't know what the name of the build pipeline is right now, but they're talking about moving to CMake.
Is that really going to affect everyday PHP developers, though?
It won't, but it will affect PHP developers who build their own versions. It will affect PHP on Raspberry Pi and other ARM systems. It's a couple weeks ago, PHP internals was really focused on what a deprecation means, like how important it is that we deprecate something before we remove it and how many versions that should be. And like all that conversation died. And now internals is talking about very specific functionality of how the system is built and what the system is built for. So it's very interesting watching internals do this focus change from feature release back into long-term support. But that's not what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about you guys buying NFTs. Have you guys bought any
No,
high-value NFTs and become instant millionaires?
I haven't bought any high value, low value, or any value NFTs.
Well,
Which actually most NFTs are.
yeah, they're zero. There's no value. They're
I
Nope,
believe
not-
I made
not-
my
not
stand
ga-
on the NFT.
not gambling on it.
conversation very early on.
NFTs are really stupid, in my opinion.
Oh,
have-
so your opinion's changed.
They have a place. They have a place, but they have been made very stupid.
There's aren't there games coming out now where that's
Nope.
how you're gonna buy your what?
they said they were going to do that, and then the community revolted immediately and said, "The fuck you are," and everyone who was doing that took it back and said, "Well, we're not
what?
doing that."
I didn't hear any of this.
Releasing in-game items as NFTs.
So you prove you have ownership of it, so that
Which
if I
they
had
already
an-
were. They were already NFTs. They just only had one origin of authority. The whole thing is stupid.
I agree. I was gonna say the same thing.
But I kind of want to buy an Olive Garden.
Oh, what?
An Olive
Explain. What is it? Like the restaurant on Olive Garden?
Yeah. So,
What?
oh, man, six hours ago, I double checked on this, and the page was still valid. But now it's saying it's 404. Somebody took a picture of a bunch of Olive Gardens and then sold those Olive Gardens as NFTs and said, "Hey, this Olive Garden can be your Olive Garden, where the breadsticks are unlimited and the salad is microwaved."
Huh?
What Olive Garden have you been going to?
The one right next to me.
Oh my god!
Why do we keep doing this? I keep asking myself that.
Non-fungible Olive Gardens was the best implementation of NFTs, and now it's a 404, which really upsets me. I literally checked earlier today to make sure it was still working, but OpenSea,
How much was an Olive Garden going for?
like $100K.
Don't understand people.
Exactly. The whole thing was so stupid that someone said, I'm going to take pictures of Olive Gardens and sell them on the NFT marketplace. And the dude is a millionaire now. And it's super embarrassing because, man, I live next to an Olive Garden. I could have been a millionaire. The whole NFT thing is, it's such the Beethoven was a brilliant composer at 12 years old. We're like, yeah, anyone can make it at any age as long as their idea is slightly original.
Weren't you all for NFTs though when you first started talking about
I'm
them?
still for NFTs, but this is not what NFTs are. NFTs are not randomly generated monkeys for $100.5 million.
I love the drunk Thomas. It's like, weren't you for it? I'm still for NFTs.
Hey,
They're stupid. I hate them, but I'm totally for them.
No, $1 million for a stupid picture of a monkey is stupid, no matter what blockchain or technology they're on. Yeah, there's a lot of people out there who are really, really stupid and they're spending a huge amount of money on this stuff, or they're really smart and they're convincing other people to spend their money on this stuff. Either way. But that's not what NFTs are. NFTs are non-fungible tokens. That this is still a thing that has a valid place in the world. It's not invalid just because people are stupid and they're blowing it out of proportion. And that the non-fungible Olive Gardens was the perfect example of that. That somebody was just taking pictures. There was a guy who had a DeviantArt account that had to take it down because people were just taking his JPEGs and selling them on NFT markets. Like, yeah, yes, the current situation is really, really stupid, but it has a place in the future economy of things.
I'm just gonna take a bunch of pictures of me and sell them.
Oh, fuck, you
I already did that.
You'd probably
wasn't much of a market.
You would probably make a couple $1,000s. That's the terrifying thing.
Take them off my hands.
But this ties into Web 3.
I saw you mentioned this earlier in Discord.
Got to that, huh? Holy crap.
I tried to stop him earlier. I'm not going to stop him again. We're late enough in the show. Talk about Web 3.
Oh, Jesus.
Today?
So here's the thing.
So you audio listeners, you benefit from the truncate silence filter in this situation. Trust me. That sounded like John was very rude in saying that, but trust me, if you watch the show live, there was a very long pause there.
I don't want to get into Web 3 today, but I want people to tell me why this is not the dumbest concept in the world, and then I want to talk about it next week. Because the whole idea of Web 3 is distributed, like, ledger-based websites.
All right, I will do some reading on it and we'll talk next week because I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, the idea is that, like, we don't want the big.
Are we doing this again?
We don't
For
want the
another
big
year?
yeah.
Next week is another year.
We don't want
We
the
can be
big
done
tech
today.
guys. We don't want the big tech guys to own all the websites. We want independent websites. The first company that got on board with Web3 was Facebook, and everyone was like, hooray, that's great. And we're like, no, they own it then, you fucking idiots. It's just hosted by Facebook instead of Google, or Facebook instead of whatever. Web3 to me sounds like the dumbest concept in the world, and someone out there has to explain to me why it's not the dumbest concept in the world. So please, on Discord, message me and tell me why it's not the dumbest thing in the world, because I want to talk about it next week. But what I have to talk about this week is Laravel 8.77. This 2 weeks release of Laravel. There's no release this week. This was last week's release. And this week introduced...
You do understand you're pausing very long. I don't know how much you smoked today, but your pauses are very long.
That is none of your fucking business. Here, let me zoom in on myself. There we go. This week, Laravel introduced the attribute casting to attributes. So previously in Laravel, if you had a model that you wanted to have an attribute on, you had to say set blank attribute and then the value. Now it removes the magic around the fetching of that method. The method returns the attribute object. And I think this is the coolest thing that Laravel's done in a long time. Is every time Laravel gets rid of the magic stuff, it makes me happy. This is such a cool improvement. It's not just some dumb commit to add a new rule to validation. It's an actual cool thing. That's literally all I had to say about that. I keep forgetting that when we get to the end of the episode, Eric just wants it to be over, and John's already fallen asleep, and no one wants to talk about.
I don't understand what it's doing. So, and I'm not a Laravel person anyway. So
every time Laravel moves away from magic, I am super happy about it.
I've honestly been almost completely unplugged this last week with movement. So I totally missed. I saw some tweets going on about it, and I keep meaning to go back and look at it, and I haven't looked at it. I'm sorry, Thomas. I'll do better next year.
No, you won't. I'll stop zooming in on myself.
You're right. I won't.
I keep forgetting that John does not do the Laravel stuff, and that Eric hates me.
I do the bare minimum to make my app work.
I love you.
I don't live and breathe it.
You're like that special cousin I have. You
Okay,
can't move very fast around them.
We only did that once.
Oh my gosh! All right, that's it. I think we're done this year. This is it. This really sums up the year for me. I want to be done. Can we be done? We're done.
We're done. Thank you for listening.
Episode 267.
I gotta stop ending episodes like this, where I'm like, hey, here's this thing I've been thinking about for a week.
By the way,
and then no one says fucking anything. And I'm like, Eric's like, well, I guess that's the end of the show.
We kind of blew over an important part of the show. Honey Badger was our sponsor. So you might not have caught that. By the way, we just slipped into a commercial, so thanks, Honey Badger, and moved on.
Honey Badger transforms you into a DevOps hero by combining error, uptime, and cron monitoring into a single, easy-to-use platform. Stop wasting your time tailing logs and deploy with Swagger. Visit honeybadger.io today to level up.
Made me feel bad about Honey Badger, so I played it twice.
Well, they deserve to be played twice. They've been our sponsor for a very long time, and we are very appreciative of their support. So thank you, Honey Badger, for sponsoring the PHPUgly podcast. I want to say all of 2021. Like, I feel like it's been the entire year, but I might be wrong there. I would have to go back and check. But thank you, Honey Badger.
The fact that we're at the end of 2021 doesn't feel right on its own.
Right. But Eric, were you going somewhere with that specifically? I know Tom cut you off as you were trying to talk about how we blew over him earlier.
No, just that. Just thanks for the support for such a long time, and I wanted to make sure everybody understood that, you know, Honey Badger has been our sponsor for a while. And apparently thanks to our Patreons again. Our Patreons on Patreon. Because at this point, Tom was just clicking buttons.
Man, I tried to start the podcast early.
Monkey at the keyboard.
Also, Monkey at the keyboard, highly valuable NFT.
All right, that's
How do you get any
Episode
work done?
267 is in the book. I'm Eric.
I'm John.
I'm Tom.
Keep
Keep
it
it
ugly.
ugly.
One, two, coming off the top, y'all know how we do. Listen, I'ma drop a freestyle you can cherish. I'ma send a shout out to the host named Eric. Yo, he's never on some average shit, you know Eric. He stays loud and passionate. I'm about to break it down for y'all with the clever song. Yo, shout the host named Thomas, cause he's never wrong. Yo, shout to John. You know that he's smart and quiet, unlike my freestyles, which cause a riot. I'm about to do it like this, cause the people love me. Shouts out to PHP, the ugly. It's called ugly cause it's not professional. But I'm about to come through and bless it with style. So let's do it when I'm spitting, I perfume the room. Yo, the segment of the show is called Doom and Gloom. That came from Thomas. Yeah, can nobody go beyond this? I get the mic and then I'm about to keep it like a promise. Yeah, and y'all know we fill them up with anguish. We talking about the PHP, the programming language. About to break it down, no exaggeration. What do y'all do for a living? Web applications. Okay, I can dig it. My words spray tight. They getting together on the Thursday nights. Yeah, when it comes to rhyming, you can call me the new dude. I spew true lyrics while y'all broadcast on YouTube. So let's get it. You know my lyrics are major. All up in the comments, they got plenty of haters, but they doing what they doing. Keep it ugly. We ending every show with the saying it's lovely. Let's go.
I apologize for.
You still sharing?
Yeah.
I was seeing if the feedback was there. You apologize for what?
Apologize for nothing. Fuck you.
Tell me to apologize? I wasn't telling you about you to
Asshole.
apologize, you dick.
Why? Who brought that up?
Oh man, I can't wait to get my apps back together. I can't wait to get my good mic. I can't wait to be able to find things when I need things. Like now, I'm like, I know I have this somewhere. I just don't know where it's at. Like my glasses.
You're not. You're not in your office right now, are you?
No, I'm in my dining room because my office was
the biggest
just too
room in the
empty.
house you could find.
But it was, yeah. But I think the office would have been worse. So it was an executive decision. I made it.
Get your desk set up. Get some stuff on the wall. Dampen the sound.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, that's the plan.
Sounds like you're gonna have a very busy weekend.
Very, very busy weekend. Yeah.
He should have had a busy day. He gave up. Let's be clear about that. He could
I
have
had
been,
an exhausting
he could
day.
have
What are you
been
talking
set
about?
up. He could have been set up.
He wanted you to focus
didn't.
only on your office.
I got you. Okay, I see what you're saying now.
So you're in sleeping in the house now? Got your bed and everything?
Tonight will be the first night. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I mean, I've fallen asleep on that couch. Like that sectional is going to be a problem because you lay down on that thing and you just like fade away. a very comfortable couch.
Yeah. No, you get smaller and smaller until you just disappear.
Pretty much.
So
but yeah, we have the bed set up tonight.
We got sponsored by Laravel Magazine.
Well, no, they're just a Patreon supporter.
They're
at the same level as everybody else.
We got Patreoned by Laravel Magazine. The Laravel Magazine reached out to me.
Okay.
And was asking if I would be interested in co-hosting.
Oh, interesting. Just for one show or on a recurring basis?
Well, no, co-host generally means recurring basis.
Oh, is that the mistake I made with you? Okay, got it.
Too late now.
Well, that's exciting. Why did you say something about that in the show? Or have you not decided?
Well, I haven't decided.
Oh, okay.
Go for it if you want to do it.
I don't.
Oh, are you? No, listen, Tom. It's completely fine if you can't do this show anymore. You need to do that one. We understand.
It's December, which has been fucking rough. Not a Christmas person. Last week we didn't record, which was serendipitous because I got my booster shot and my armpit swelled up like to the point where I couldn't put my arm down. I was just like this.
I'm not sure that's a side effect of the
It is.
shot, but
No, it's lymph node inflammation is a side effect. It was nasty. And then I've been so fucking busy. I want to do the Laravel Magazine podcast, but at the same time, am I the right guy
Why would you not be?
to like promote Laravel?
maybe that's what they're looking for.
I love Laravel. Don't get me wrong. No, I said the butt part. Don't get me wrong.
And then a long pause.
So I think I'm going to do the Laravel Magazine podcast. And there's definitely a lot of like things to work out.
Like you're only allowed to do it after 9 p.m. your time.
But man, I know. Just honestly, I need a fucking nap. Every day I look at my Discord and all the conversations that are going on, and I'm just like, I'm so tired though.
Look, they have the perfect hot topic for you right now. Web3 PHP API for Ethereum RPC.
That's stupid.
It's a hot topic.
See, I wouldn't
That's my
lead with
problem.
that.
That's my problem as a our podcast. I am not a proponent of anything. I'm
and everything at the same time.
Yes, I'm also a proponent of everything.
You can't flip-flop, but yeah.
At doing a podcast like for Laravel Magazine, I would have to be a proponent. I wouldn't have to.
I think you just have to be honest. I mean, you know.
Well,
And sober.
Have you listened
That's
to
another
any of their
problem.
episodes? Do you know what?
Well, no, there's no
they're
episodes.
not sponsored.
It's not a thing
There's
yet.
two. There's two.
Yes, there is.
Shit,
Oh
I should probably know that.
We talked about it on the last show. I told you this because I said it was his second show had fucking Steve on it. You remember this conversation? I'm trying to help you, Tom. I'm trying to make you successful. You just make it so damn difficult. What are you staring at? What's wrong with you?
I was just thinking about how I like my new cologne and wondering if you guys liked it. So emotionally, that's where I'm at right now.
It's like trying to teach coding to a rabbit. You know, you just. Oh my god!
Yeah, we're not recording right now. That's funny. Well, I guess we are on YouTube, but
It's called work. My friend gave it to me.
Well, that's exciting, Tom. I will be sure to listen to it. When's your first show?
No, I'm just making the decision now to do it or not do it. Again, I have not responded.
and they sent it to you how long ago? They did one on the 17th, then the 26th, and then nothing in the past
Technically,
month,
it says It says 8 days ago.
Yeah. Well, you have an excuse. You had Christmas in there. Just respond right now and just say I'm interested.
No, I did that.
Do it right now.
I did that.
All right.
I'll respond tomorrow.
I thought you did respond. Now I'm confused.
They were there. He was watching. He was watching the show.
I know.
The last year we recorded.
Yes, I know.
Okay. I'm sorry.
I talked so highly of Laravel that they reached out to me too. Just saying.
Laravel. You don't know Laravel.
Doesn't mean I can't talk about it.
I was talking about the new attributes cast, and you were like, I don't know what that means. And it ruined the whole show.
Yeah. Yeah, it was all John's doing. It all unraveled when John started talking.
John has had the one ticket on Trello for 3 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I brought it
I
up
know what you're
once, and
talking
you guys didn't want to talk about it. So
So
I
you
don't
left.
think that's true.
Oh, it disappeared.
I brought it up at one point.
Seriously,
we just didn't go anywhere with it.
I want to talk about Web3 because I can't tell if it's the dumbest thing ever or the next big thing, but I'm pretty sure it's the dumbest thing ever.
All right. Well, hopefully it's the next big thing, and somebody wants to write about it for PHP Architect magazine.
PHP Architect. There you go. Thomas. You want to write for PHP Architect? Apparently you're taking on all these new projects.
I cornered somebody else today into writing for us. Sent him a contract. He hasn't signed it yet, but yep. I'm doing my best to coerce people as much as I can.
Yeah.
You should get what's her name with the super cool Twitter account.
There's a lot of what's her names with really cool Twitter accounts.
Snipey?
Sarah.
Who are you talking about?
Sarah Goldman. You know, with the super cool Twitter account.
Well, there's a lot of super cool chicks without Twitter accounts too, I guess. Huh?
Snipey's been busy.
Mm-hmm. Did you see her share her first or one of her biggest cybersecurity issues of the 90s?
No, which one?
I didn't notice that.
That was funny. You should go check it out. She was in flight to go speak at a conference, so she's in the air for hours and then lands, and then has, as she's checking into the conference, people saying I'm sorry, and she has no clue what they're talking about. And the small NGO she was working for, which I still don't know what NGO stands for.
Non-government organization.
Yeah. Their site was hacked and just had like How did she put it? It'd be funnier if I say it, put it how she did. I'm not worried about dead air because we're technically off the air. Just saying.
Technically, yeah.
No. How far back was it?
Oh, fuck off with your 2FA.
Oh man, I'm not gonna be able to find it again. What are the chances it's still up and on my phone?
All right. We're gonna close out tonight. Thank you everybody for listening and watching. And
I got it. I got it.
Oh,
no, I don't. Yeah.
Wonderful.
It was on my phone until Twitter decided to refresh.